Over the past 8 years, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, my hometown, where we broadcast each and every Thrive Time Show podcast from, has been booming. Broken Arrow has revitalized its downtown, attracted the Bass Pro Shop to build a massive location, and has brought big-time employers to the community. And on today's show, we're going to interview the mastermind behind much of the growth, Mayor Craig Thurmond. If you've ever wanted to know what impact a local mayor can have on a local economy, today is the show for you.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes. Dr. Zellner, it is always ecstasy when you are next to me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I tell you what, it's been a tremendously wonderful day.
Yes.
And the start of 2020 has been a great year. It's my year.
It is your year.
It is my year.
As an optometrist, this is your year.
I am owning this year. Great things are happening this year. And I hope great things are happening to all of our listening audience out there, too.
Well, I was thinking earlier today when I was driving over here to the studio to record, I was thinking, I'm going to drive to the studio to record, and I'm going to have to drive to Broken Arrow to record.
Yes,
that's where the studio is.
That's where your man cave / studio is.
So I thought, well, you know, who's in charge of who's helping lead the charge for this great geographical place I know as Broken Arrow, my hometown.
Your hometown.
Who's the person leading this town?
Well, that would be the mayor of the town, right?
The mayor of the town. I thought, you know, what I should do is, wouldn't it be nice if we could have the mayor of Broken Arrow on the show?
That's a pipe dream. He would never.
He would never.
He's probably too busy, too classy to come on a show like this. I can't imagine that.
But then I started thinking to myself, I said, Broken Arrow is very different from how I remember it when I was born in 1980. I started waking up and realizing how things were in about 1989, 1990. Downtown Broken Arrow was kind of a sleepy place. There wasn't a lot of action going on.
No, and when I was a kid, see, I grew up in this area.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, Broken Arrow was known as a place you did not speed through. They'll get you.
They'll get you.
They'll get you. You get to Broken Arrow, you pump the brakes.
There wasn't a lot of action downtown Broken Arrow.
No.
The Bass Pro Shop wasn't here in Broken Arrow.
No.
And a lot of things have changed in Broken Arrow. I would argue for the good over the past decade plus
the
15
development
years.
of the Rose District, that's pretty hot sauce.
And so without any further ado, we have Brother Craig Thurmond, the mayor of Broken Arrow, on the show.
We got
Mayor
it.
Craig, how are you?
Great. Really happy to be here.
We're excited to have you here. Can you tell us how long ago did you first become, or when did you first become the mayor of Broken Arrow?
Well, I've been on the council since 2001.
2001.
2001. I've been the mayor for 8 years. 7 years before that, I was the vice mayor.
How does it work that the mayor, what kind of power or lack of power does the mayor have? How is it organized in Broken Arrow government?
Well, we're a council manager form of government. The city manager runs the administration. We do the legislative part of the agenda as far as making sure that people, that ordinances are passed, that zoning's passed, that budget's passed, and everything happens in the city. And then we consult a lot with the city manager on what to do.
As the mayor, is this a paid gig? Do you get paid to be the mayor?
No, it's volunteer. Everybody on the council is volunteer.
Why would you spend a vast majority of your free time being the mayor of a community when you don't get paid?
Well, not many people get the opportunity that I have to make a difference in our community. And that's the big thing, is I have an opportunity to make a difference. And I got started years ago. We were not very business friendly at all. We really were the worst place in the whole metro to do business. And I had an adopted daughter who, when she was 15, was shot in the head. And her shooter got 2 years in prison. So I went to Oklahoma City and got the law changed so that someone that discharges a firearm commission of felony spends 10 years in prison, no parole, and then I learned I could make a difference. So that's why I got involved in the city.
Wow, I did not know that story.
Wow, that's intense.
So you have been mayor for how long now?
For 8 years.
8 years in Broken Arrow, and
a vice mayor. What is for us kind of small-minded that don't know a lot about politics.
Z's kind of like the vice lord of the show,
Yeah.
so we're trying to figure out how that works.
Completely different in Broken Arrow.
Okay.
The vice mayor more or less just does things that when the mayor can't be there, the vice mayor runs the meetings. The vice mayor goes to events and does things for the mayor when the mayor can't do it.
How many people live in Broken Arrow approximately right now?
Around 115,000 people.
So, is there any quantifiable data, or 'cause I live in Broken Arrow, so I can point to the success and the economic improvement over the past 8 years. I mean, I know people in the Rose District that own companies. I'm a partner in a couple companies actually, and I have benefited from it. I mean, I've seen the Hub Gym take off. It's great, but I mean, is there some statistics or some data that you could point to that shows that the city of Broken Arrow economically has been doing better since you've been involved?
Well, the growth has really been big, because when I got on the council in 2001, we were around 86,000 people. Now we're 115,000. But just the Rose District alone has really been quite special in what it's done. 7 years ago, we collected $17,000 in sales tax in the Rose Districts. At the end of 2018, we collected $431,000 in sales tax.
From 17,000 to how much?
To 431,000.
See, that is a several dollarinis.
You get a lot of police officers with that. You better go really slow now, bro.
Really slow.
Really slow.
Okay. Now, so we brought a friend of yours onto the show, a colleague of yours, somebody who's had to put up with you for a while, I understand. This is the CEO of AVB Bank, Ted Cundiff. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Glad to be here. How are you guys?
I'm excited to have you here. How do you know Mayor Craig? When was the first time that you met him?
I believe I met him when I went on to the Broken Arrow Economic Development Corporation. That's probably been 8 years ago. So I've known him since that time.
Has he been extremely difficult to work with, or how's that going?
If anyone knows Craig, he is one of the best, most genuine guys in Broken Arrow, and as he mentioned before, he's really in it with his volunteer time just to improve Broken Arrow, which I really commend.
What sort of impact do you believe that his leadership, or having Craig help and steer the ship here, what kind of impact do you feel like he should be credited for, or could you point to and say this would not have happened if he were not here helping to lead the charge?
I think there's a lot of things, but the overall leadership during the period of time, the continuity of having a mayor, a city council in place, whenever you have a long-range vision to get things done, the people that come up with that vision really need to lead it and see it through. And I think his leadership, as he said, through both his vice mayor and mayorship, has really shown what can be done in Broken Arrow with the Rose District, with retail development around town, also with just the growth of our population, the safety both from fire and from police. We've seen that consistently be a focus of the city and of that position. So he's just done a great job with that.
I work with Shaw Homes, helping them to grow their business.
Yes.
And Mr. Shaw, who it's named after, Shaw Homes, and Chuck Ramsey, who's an investor in Shaw Homes, they're always talking about how easy it is to work in Broken Arrow. They always say Broken Arrow is a great place to build. That's why they're building all these new homes, these new housing additions, huge neighborhoods. I mean, hundreds of homes. And they are always talking about how easy it is to do business in Broken Arrow.
And that's what entrepreneurs want. We want places that are not only easy, but they're welcoming, that they're encouraging, that they act like, I mean, so many times you go to a city and they act like they don't want your business. And that's crazy. And so when you go to a place that becomes business friendly, as the mayor was talking about just a little bit ago, that switch is huge to entrepreneurs.
Now, I'm not ripping GT Bynum. I'm not getting into a political discussion about his leadership as the Tulsa mayor, but I'm going to say this. A lot of people who are builders, specifically that I've worked with in the past, say it is very hard to get anything approved to build in Tulsa. And it's much easier in Broken Arrow. So
I had a face-to-face talk with him about that.
GT?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And he talked about
GT. Are you with me?
We talked about maybe doing some fast-tracking stuff, adding some more staff. I mean, streamlining it, making it to where it's the process is the process, and so it's how do you get it through quicker, quickly, so that you can, get going. I mean, you buy something, you sit on it, and you wait. It's the waiting game. And if you're an entrepreneur, waiting, it costs money. And so we're trying to go, let's go faster.
Well, let's do this. Let's go. I remember years ago at your optometry clinic off of 71st and Memorial, there's a big banner that said, vote Bridenstine.
Oh, yeah.
who's now the head of NASA.
Isn't that cool?
But a lot of business people shy away from supporting a candidate. So what I'm going to do,
it's polarizing.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest that I think Broken Arrow is better off with Mayor Craig in the House in charge. I think it's a great thing, but this is my opinion. So what I'm going to do is you and I are going to begin to ask more and more rude questions to Brother Craig here.
Let's get it on.
Because that way the people out there who are listening can go, because is it not time for re-election? When's this re-election happening?
It's going to be April of next year, so it's about a year off.
A year off. So let's talk about it. If you don't get reelected, in your humble opinion, do you know who you're running against, and what could it be like if somebody else wins the mayor position?
Well, if someone else wins, again, you don't have that continuity. You don't have someone that has a vision, and we don't really know who's going to win. Okay. So it could be somebody that doesn't have the vision at all that we have, and doesn't have the experience, definitely, to be able to continue to get the city to grow and continue to do the things that we're doing. Do
you know who you are specifically going to be running against at this point?
I don't know exactly who I'm going to be running against because we won't know until next year when they sign up. But we do have some certain candidates that have had some interest, but we don't have anyone exactly that we know who we're running against. But it's important. That's why I want to start working early and start getting people to understand the importance of getting out and voting.
What if I don't want to vote? What if I'm a business owner and I go, the mayor or the governor, none of that stuff affects me. I want to get Z's take on this too. But what if I'm saying, I don't think this affects me, doesn't impact me? Why is that flawed thinking in your mind?
Well, I think it's important that what the city government does, it's really pretty amazing when you think of the fact that you flush your toilet, the water goes away. You turn on your faucet, the water comes out.
Oh.
When you throw put your trash out, someone picks it up. When you call 911, someone shows up. And so it's really important that we're the ones that really affect people's lives the most as a local government. So it's so important that we have leadership that continues on and has the quality of life that we do have here in Broken Arrow that some other cities don't have, and this public safety that we have here in Broken Arrow that some other cities don't have. So it's really important that we have someone that knows what we've done and where we're going and has a vision for the future. Because one thing is, if you don't, progress is something that's so important. You have to continue to move forward or else you're moving backwards. And government has to stay out of the way of business is the only way that we're going to get government going to get anything to happen. That's how we get things to happen in our community is government stays out of the way.
Z, you're always doing fundraisers for people you believe in.
Yes, I do.
For politics, and again, there's not a lot of people that I know who are business owners who are as outspoken as you are about a candidate once you get behind them. But there's a certain filter you go through.
Correct.
And so I would like for you right now. There's no.
I got a couple hard-hitting questions.
There's no rude questions. The rudest question you could ask is a weak question, and you're a tough man. You're a tough. So I would like for you to interrogate brother Craig here, and then I know we want to tap into Ted's wisdom about whether he can vouch for whether this is in fact something that
I like vouching.
Okay.
Vouching's good.
Let's do it.
Mayor, you had a very deep and interesting story to start off here when we started talking about your stepdaughter.
Stepdaughter, yes.
Stepdaughter. Mm-hmm. And the way that you win and change laws because of that.
Yes.
Other than that, what do you feel like, specifically in Broken Arrow, what is some of, highlight me a couple, 1, 2, 3 home runs that you've done, that you've been behind, that you've been the energy behind, that you've made things happen. What are a couple, 3 of those things?
Well, I think everything we do, you have to understand that we're funding everything through sales tax. So that's what's so important when we start looking at funding things through sales tax. So to be able to have a strong police department, a strong fire department, is because we've got sales tax to be able to fund them.
Right.
And so Bass Pro was the first thing that I was involved in. The Bass Pro, we had someone make a statement that, I don't think we can afford to do this. And my answer to them was, I don't think we can afford not to do this.
There you go.
And Bass Pro now has a lot of development in that area because Bass Pro was there. So we made the investment as a community to be able to do that. So second thing probably, one of the big things is downtown. What we've done downtown, and I say very often that on a Saturday night, the only reason a car would ever be down there is because it wouldn't start. And now,
that's right. Yeah.
And now you can't find a parking place.
It's vibrant. I walked down there not too long ago, and it's vibrant. People walking and shopping and eating and getting ice cream, and it's really a neat place.
And we've done a lot with it, and having music downtown, all the things that we have downtown makes it a really nice place for people to be and a place they want to spend their money. And again, that sales tax dollars goes to funding our government. So those were two of the big things, and we're also looking, and Ted's very much involved in looking at an innovation district to be able to keep our students here so they can be intern in companies and then be able to get a job here and not have to leave and go to Denver, Dallas, or Kansas City or somewhere else. They can be right here. So that's the
deep dive a little bit on that for the average listener out there going, they're probably saying to themselves, what does he mean by that?
Well, the innovation district is something that's new, and that's the future really of our country is the innovation districts. It used to, it's kind of like started out with technology parks, but now it's more of an innovation district, and so it's everything. It's a lifestyle. It's everything that you can do, but it's also there's education there, and there's also manufacturing there. There's other types of businesses there. Tech businesses and businesses that can that are trying to get interns from school, and so through no matter whether you're in a K-12 program or whether you're at a community college or technical school or you're at higher ed somewhere, you can intern there, and then you have that ability to be able to you try that job out and you see if you like it, and also they get to try you out and see if they like you, and then then you can be able to have a good paying job here right in our metro without having to leave.
Right, and I know you guys have partnered with Northeastern State University. They now have a campus in Broken Arrow.
Yes,
I'm actually doing lunch tomorrow with Steve Turner, the president of Northeastern State University, my alma mater, and that's so good. I mean, now is that the only? I'm trying to think. What do you have any other universities that have a foothold in Broken Arrow? Is that?
Well, it's the only one that actually has a physical location here.
Okay,
and the citizen tax dollars, whether we pass the sales tax to get it started, and then the first Vision 2020 or 2025 first Vision money that we spent there. We spent more money there than we did in our community to try and get that to grow. But we do work closely, I think, with OSU, TU, and OU, all those. So we have all those higher ed, and we hope to have all of them in our innovation district.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. And how far is that off? I know it's a drawing board item now, but when would you like to see that come to fruition?
Well, I'd like to see it happen in the next year or two, but we've worked on it now for probably about 5 to 6 years. Ted and I have both been involved in it, trying to get it to happen, and we're real close. So we've got a company right now that's doing a study for us, and we're real close to getting that kicked off, and hopefully by next year sometime we'll have it started.
Ted, you are the CEO of a bank. Why are you passionate about seeing Mayor Craig return to office again? I mean, in your mind, why is it a good thing to have him in office?
Well, it's back to that continuity and vision. Just like the mayor just talked about, you really have to have that vision. It takes time. As he said, we've been working on this concept for about 5 years, and if you think about it, our kids, my kids, grandkids really, growing up right now, going through K through 12, through the innovation district, could have a path not only to go to higher ed, to the NSUs, the OSUs, the other ones that we have in the metro area, but also Tulsa Tech is a part of this concept as well. So there's a path of education that leads to the ultimate thing that we're trying to create is a place for workforce, new workforce, high-tech jobs. And so that combination with the education piece and then the private sector being in that same innovation district, doing the internships, having places to go to learn all the new softwares and technology and those things. So it's just a collaborative effort and environment that we're trying to kick off. But it's that continuity that we talked about, keeping this vision of 5 years of work already going, making sure now that the voters just passed this past year $9 million in the last bond issue to start the infrastructure of this. So now we've got to find a location, spend the money in the right places to get the infrastructure in place and start building it. And so having that continuity with Mayor Thurmond, having the vision, being a part of where it's going to go, and then leading us to getting it up and running and kicked off for the community.
You know, Z, we have listeners from all over the world who tune into the show. And I'll tell you.
Do we have any from North Korea yet?
No.
We haven't popped there yet?
I believe it's actually banned. Like American podcasts, you can't download them there.
We need to sneak some in. Maybe we can just a carrier pigeon or something. Just drop it.
Well, I'm going to
put an episode.
What we need to do is we need to get Dennis Rodman on the show, and then we'll have him sneak him.
There we go. Get old Dennis on. He'll get her done.
Our leading advisor, to the North Koreans.
He's like our ambassador.
He is a beautiful man.
Korea, yes.
So I want to mention this, though, because we have a lot of listeners from all over the country who listen to this show. And unfortunately, many of them who have traveled to Tulsa from Michigan have told us they cannot find people, good employees. They just cannot do it. And I'm going, what do you mean you can't? And they said, but people who are listeners from Texas don't seem to have that problem. There's a lot of people available who want to work, who are skilled to work, and there's large portions of Michigan where people have come to the conferences and have said, "Look, I don't have skilled labor here." And then we have at the same conference, you have these attendees from Texas and Dallas and Austin, that kind of thing, and they say, "Oh, it's not a hard thing at all finding people."
Not a hard thing at all.
Can you talk, Z, about this, about the importance of having skilled workers in keeping them right here in Broken Arrow, right here in Tulsa?
Well, I tell you what, when our young people grow up, we have to educate them with the job set that they can compete, because it's a worldwide economy right now. You know, it used to not be that way, but now we're competing with other countries. We're competing with technology.
Yep.
It's a worldwide competition. So it's one thing to educate your young people. It's another thing then to provide them an outlet, a job where they don't have to move off in order to be able to do their job. And so I think that's fascinating and wonderful for Broken Arrow to say, listen, we want to be on the forefront of this. We want to have an innovation area where not only can we educate our kids and our grandchildren, but then we also, due to the wonderful area that this is to raise a family and to have a family. The cost of living is great. The environment, the weather. I mean, there's so many great things about this area of the world. And to say, listen, okay, now we educate them, but they have to go off to get a job. They got to go to California to get that job. They've got to go down to Austin to get that job. They've got to go to D.C. to get that job.
When your people leave, when the whole generation leaves.
The second level is saying, hey, listen, let's provide a healthy, wealthy, nurturing place for these businesses to come. It's kind of like Bass Pro Shop. I mean, you've got to go get them. I mean, you got to go and you got to be proactive to get these businesses. And say, then, you know what, now watch, we not only have the people skills that are here, they're educated and ready to work, they want to stay here, and now you have the jobs, and that's that vertical, I call it vertical integration.
Vertical integration.
Oh,
nice. Vertical integration.
I like do I get a mega point for that?
Let me give you a mega point here. And let me
get
my vertical integration.
I worked hard all day long, and that's my first mega point.
Now, I would like to ask you some tough questions here.
Okay.
You decided to get behind Mr. Bridenstine, who's now the head of NASA.
Yes.
There's a certain filter you look for, certain things you look for in a candidate.
Yes.
And then when you hear the certain answers, you say, I'm done. I cannot vote for this person.
Correct.
Pretend it's just you one-on-one with Mayor Craig. And his accountability partner.
Can we light a candle?
And his life coach here, the CEO.
I would hold his hand, but he's too far. He's too far away.
And I would like for you to ask him those filter questions, those questions where you would say, this is how, if you were one-on-one, because it's just us, but the 500,000 listeners we have who listen to this show. Yes. People watching on Facebook. It's a private conversation.
It's a private conversation.
It's just that we're going to keep it between friends. If you're watching right now, you're not going to share this with more than 4 or 5 people, right?
Who would?
It's a private thing. So, Z, what questions would you have for Craig? Because we want to make sure that he is bona fide and verified.
Well, he's actually touched on quite a few of the questions I would have asked him already. But just to clarify and just to let him kind of restate, what is your view on business, and how do you view a business that wants to come into Broken Arrow? What's your mindset in that?
Well, I think the most thing that we can do, for one, we got to be a partner with business. A lot of government says we don't want business, or it's you versus them. We're a partner with business, so it's very important that we partner with them. But the most important thing we do is get out of their way and let them do their business, because that's what they know.
I love that.
The government doesn't know that. We know, the business people know that.
How specifically do you get out of somebody's way? If I'm looking to grow my businesses, and I go, you know what, I'm thinking about maybe going to Broken Arrow. What specifically, when you say get out of their way, what does that mean?
Well, I think it's important not to have a lot of needless regulation, needless hoops that you have to jump through when you try to start a business. And a lot of communities do that, and that's one thing that we really try to do. Our city manager has told staff, it's your job to be a partner and to say yes, not to say no.
They're nice on average. So as an example, we have the Elephant in the Room Men's Grooming Lounge in Broken Arrow over there by Louis off of Lynn Lane. And although I don't have audio to prove it, I'm pretty sure I could hear in the background Mayor Craig saying something like this. Attention bureaucrats, get out of their way. Get out of their way. Let them build that thing. No, but seriously, we were getting permits to build.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty quick process.
And that's wonderful.
It was quick. But some cities, other ones, have taken a long time, longer. And the people don't seem to hate me at the city.
Well, do they know you? Did they know you yet?
No. They don't know me.
Okay.
No.
Well,
But
there
I
you
mean,
go.
when I call with a question, it seems like they actually are going, hey, this guy pays the bills here. Let's be nice. They treat you more like a customer is how I would describe it.
Right. It's very important that business are customers. They are a customer. They're not just a burden. Some cities and some government do look at people, customers as burdens. And we have to look at them as customers, so it's so important.
Right.
That's
so
what we do.
In the city of Broken Arrow, what is your number one income driver? I mean, to add to the
Income, the sales tax?
income. Income is sales tax the number one?
Sales tax. Oklahoma is the last state in the United States that cities only operate on sales tax. So sales tax is the most important income to us. But we do that through. I mean, jobs are very important, because then you have that daytime population that spends money here and spends sales tax here. So our one of our big focuses is trying to grow jobs.
Well, it seems self-evident then to be nice to people wanting to open up a business,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's
Yes.
almost like, duh. And why is it, do you think some guys or some gals don't get that? Is it a power trip? Is it a control thing? I mean, why doesn't everybody look at it the way you do, Mayor Thurmond?
I think a lot of cities look at it as it is maybe a power trip, but it's a different culture. And we have a culture here that we want to foster business, and we want things to grow and to be very positive with business. And the reality is that if they don't make money, you're not going to make money. So it's very important that businesses make money. And the more the government stands in their way, the less money they can make. So it's important.
Can you run in 2024? Can we run you for president of the United States?
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
I mean, that's exactly what our that's exactly what our country needs. And,
True.
And you boil it down, that's what cities need.
And he doesn't get paid.
Dr. Z, I think there's one other point we need to hit on too.
Oh,
that
what's
what Craig has helped. You know, you were talking about having our kids having the education, a place to get a job. Kids nowadays also want a place to live that's really cool.
Oh, you're right.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And so the conversation earlier about creating the Rose District, what we tried to do there was create that cool environment.
Oh, it's cool.
It
But
is cool.
but the mayor was also a big part of, in that downtown area, they also did some redistricting, I think that's a word, to make sure that housing was going to be available, the type of housing that the younger folks want, the density
Sure.
that they want. So,
Yeah.
True.
so you could walk,
Yes.
shop, eat, all in the same area. So he was a big part in helping with that housing piece and getting that reconfigured for the city code.
I want to look this.
I don't want to speak for every flower out there,
Oh, yeah.
but I know there were a lot of flowers that were upset
Oh, yeah.
that they weren't used in the naming of the district.
Yeah, like they could have been the Daffodil District.
The tulips, tulip district. What's wrong with that?
It could have been, but
Sunflower?
That,
I mean, who
that's
doesn't like
obviously a lack of
who did-
leadership.
I mean,
there. That's
obviously-
the reason why I might not want to reelect.
I don't
them right
know. I mean, everybody hates a sunflower. I mean, so how'd you guys land on Rose District?
Well, at the turn of the 20th century, Broken Arrow was known as the city of roses and natural spring water.
Oh, well, that's
And
so
so
simple.
we were known as the city of roses, and so that was really simple. It was very much a no-brainer to come up with the Rose District.
I love no.
Now, what I'm going to do, Kendall, I want you to zoom in on the monitor screen here so that the listeners can see this, the viewers can see this. We're going to take a little trip right now down Broken
I like
Arrow.
taking
We're
trips.
taking
Is this a road trip?
This is a road trip.
Well, let's
So,
go on a
so
road
right
trip.
here, I'm going to just show you some things. I have not eaten at this primitive, but because it's not a restaurant.
Just a lot of raw meat, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
But you go down here to Fiesta Mambo. I have eaten at Fiesta Mambo. I've probably spent, I don't know, $300 there this year. The Gelateria, that's like a gelato place. I've eaten there with the kids multiple times. I probably spent $100 there maybe. The rooftop. Now I have spent a lot of money here because my wife and I, we like to do a little date night, and so we'll go to the rooftop. We'll kind of
It's kind of sexy up there.
we'll go up here.
Yeah.
And we'll grab a
there you
glass
go.
of wine or a beverage. Then we'll come down here to Andolini's. So I've probably spent, I don't know, $2,000 in this area in the last year or so.
High
There.
rolling date night.
Now you go down here. I've not spent any money in the Raw, but a lot of people do, and it's a great restaurant.
Oh, in there, I love in the raw.
It's a
I
great-
didn't even know there was an in the raw. out
Yeah,
there.
it's great.
That's cool.
It's great. I haven't spent any money at this modern dentistry place here. But there's a lot of this urban, walkable retail. This place, the Main Street Tavern, we've been there before. And all this was not here before. It was not.
I love seeing downtowns revitalized in cities. I really do. I just love it. I love it. I went there I had another couple. We went over to the Rose District in the evening, and it was a weekend night. And it was right. It was hard to find a parking spot. I mean, the place is just packed.
Now you go down the street some more. Now right here, again, I'm going to go down the street some more. There's all sorts of development going on right now. There's a big, massive piece of construction that is going on right here. You can't see it now because Google Earth hasn't updated yet, but there's a massive, I want to say it's 6 stories?
4 stories.
4 stories. Big building being constructed there. And you go down the way here, and this is one of my...
building codes, is that the highest you can go and just use wood?
No. Well, with wood, they're using wood.
Right. So 4 stories
right.
is
Right.
in Tulsa, that's a building code. You
Right.
can only go 4 stories if you're using wood.
But they realized that 4 stories was going to be ideal for them.
Perfect.
They've got
And
95 apartment units,
But
about 30,000 square feet.
Oh, it's going to be
retail.
apartment. That's what I was going to ask. Apartment buildings.
Now,
Cool.
if you are a member of the Hub Gym, every time you go there, I make about $1.50 a month off you. Thank you so much. So I like this area here. I like this. But this gym here, the Hub, it would not be possible to have this gym if there wasn't a lot of people around that area. So I'd like to know, and I want your accountability partner here, Mayor Craig. I would like Ted, the CEO of AVB Bank, to break this down. Ted, was this a vibrant area 10 years ago? Was this a vibrant area?
The whole downtown was not a vibrant area. One of the project you just mentioned, the Milestone Project.
Yeah.
I think it's real interesting. Back to Craig's vision, he was really part of the city that created something out of nothing, if you will. There was an old church that had been vacated for, 10, 15, 20 years and was in disrepair. And through Craig's leadership in the city, we were able to purchase that through the Economic Development Corporation, revitalize that area, put it out to bid, and that's how the Milestone Project actually came to fruition. It was a lot of work within the EDC and the city, but it was Craig's leadership that helped revitalize that one specific area. Just what you just mentioned, it's a huge project downtown.
Is it $18 million project?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
I'm going to pull up an image of it. I think this is it here.
Yes.
Kendall, you can
That's
zoom
it.
in here.
Yep.
This should be it here. This is it's an $18 million project?
Yes.
18?
Correct.
And how many people are going to call this place home? How many people are going to live here?
I believe there's going to be 95 apartments in there.
95 apartments, and they're like a 1,500 square foot apartments? Are they?
Not sure. I think most of them are going to be single one bedrooms. I'm not sure how many of those are going to be total, what the size is going to be total.
Yeah.
But
Looks swanky.
there's 30,000 square feet on the bottom that's going to be retail.
Wow.
They have some restaurants interested in going in there, some local restaurants. So it's really going to be another really cool place to be in Broken Arrow.
It's going to change the look of that area there.
It is.
So, again, this area was not, by the Hub Gym, downtown Broken Arrow, this was not vibrant before Mayor Craig took office. We go down the street. What role do you think that Mayor Craig played, Ted, in making this possible?
Well, it goes back to that vision and continuity. I mean, the leadership that's been in place, had that vision to see what could downtown be. The leadership, actually, the city, along with Economic Development Corporation and the Chamber of Commerce members, took several what we call best practices trips. We went to other cities and other states that are about our size to find out how they did the things they did in revitalization, what pieces they put together. We've been working on that for 15 years.
Did you guys study the Brookings Institute for Urban Renewal? Did you look at that document, or did you guys talk about that? I'm obsessed with that, by the way.
I don't know that one specifically, but there were several.
Entertainment, dining, retail.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, this building here, this yellow thing, I'm not sure what this yellow thing is, but I can...
Cherry Ann's.
Cherry Ann's.
Italian place.
And it's
Great food.
Italian.
Yeah.
Last Friday, I think it was, I was driving by there. I was driving back from the Hub, and this place was rocking.
Yeah.
And Ted, would anybody have wanted to lease this space 10 years ago?
Probably couldn't have given it away.
I mean, seriously. Now you go down. We're going down the street. We're going down the street, and I'm just kind of going down.
We're road tripping.
We're road tripping. Now you go down here to the left, and this right here. I don't know what is here now. I think there's an ice cream
Scoops
place
and rolls, ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
and but that wasn't a thing 10 years ago.
No.
See, I'm just telling you, this is now. I only have one grievance about the whole thing. That I want to. Can I complain, Mayor Craig? Is that okay?
Yes. Go right ahead.
I have one issue. I believe this is a park.
Yes.
And I don't know. I mean, is this a park?
It's a park.
How big does something have to be in your mind before it becomes a park? Because this is a pretty small.
It's pretty small. It's pretty
Small park.
And
It's a small park.
Small part.
Yeah, I think it's been there about 20 years or so. I
I
believe.
planned on getting in shape, Z, by going on a walk on this park. You know, I hear there's a park in downtown Broken Arrow.
You've got a lot of.
So I go for a walk and I realize, well, I'm at the end of the park. Better turn back around here. But it's a nice addition. Was this here 10 years ago?
I think it's been there 10, 12 years.
It's
Okay.
more of a yoga park or something.
Yoga
kinda
park.
Small,
Yeah.
Kind of inner chi.
Oh, I love yoga. My favorite pose is sleeping bear. You know,
You're big into broga this time of year.
I mean, I
Z.
just like you get. It's
Amazing.
hard to be still that long unless sometimes you fall asleep while you're doing it.
Now,
but, I mean,
this whole
sleeping
area
bears.
here, all these restaurants, were they here 10 years ago?
No. There was
So
nothing
what
there.
was going on with and I'm not asking to rip a specific mayor there, Ted. I just want to know, you're the CEO of a bank. You know what you're talking about. What was going on with the other mayors? Were they going out? Did they not have a vision, or what was going on?
I don't think there was anything wrong that was going on. It's just back to what you said. You have to have a vision. You've got to research what's going to work. A lot of other redevelopments have happened in other cities around Tulsa, but they haven't had the success we have because we did a lot of research through Craig's leadership to find those areas that look like what we wanted it to look like, have the walkability, the streetscape, all those things, and through his leadership, it's come to fruition.
So you know how you know that an urban development's going well? You know how you know?
Yes,
How do you know?
people use it. People show up. People are there.
Right, and so we don't need necessarily to see a bunch of statistics, but the people are there. I mean, if you live in this area, it is busy. And another way you know is when people start wanting to lease space that's kind of off the path a little bit. Just a
Right.
little bit where it's like there's enough traffic now that it's kind of spilled over into the side streets, the streets behind it. And somewhere over here, there's a former church that is now I think it's Brambles now.
Bramble Breakfast, yes.
I think I'm
Oh,
going
I
the
love
right
Bramble.
direction.
I love Bramble.
Oh, here it is. I think this is it. This is a former church. Let me go around the corner here. And this place was I believe it was a former church, if I'm correct. Here it is.
Yep. It was,
And now it is rocking. And who else is leasing that space there, guys? Who's leasing the other part of this building?
there's an engineer looking at that, and I think there's another restaurant looking at it downstairs.
See, I mean, when you're starting to lease the space that's off the main street, that's a move.
That's a move. You know it's successful, and you track it by your sales tax dollars. I mean, that is the move. I had a really serious question from Mayor Thurmond.
Oh, well. We talk about my rash, or what are we talking about?
No, I just wanted to get permission from the mayor
Okay.
publicly that the next time, and there may not be next time, but next time I get pulled over in the city of Broken Arrow, can I name drop you?
It probably would do you absolutely no good. So you can do whatever you want, but it probably would do you no good. Might get you a ticket.
I'm like, hey,
You'll probably get a ticket as a result of referencing.
We're now bros. I'm just telling you now, Officer Pendleton. We're now really, really close. I spent a really solid 30 minutes with him one time, and I mean, we're okay. Thank you for the ticket.
So Ted, we plan on having Mayor Craig on the show every week for the next few weeks to get him exposure to the Thrive Nation there. But I'm going to give you the mic, my friend, as we wrap up today's show, to share any reason why you believe that everybody should reelect a Mayor Craig, why you think he's been a great asset to Broken Arrow, and then feel free to rip him on a personal level. Just feel free to make fun of him, rip him, ridicule him, whatever you want. Any passive-aggressive grievances, you have the mic for that too.
And you also can talk about AVB Bank. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
AVB.
I thought you were going to show a
It's
picture of
easy
that
as
too
1,
on
2,
Main
3.
Street.
I'll get there. I will get there. You filibuster. I'll fill. But Kendall, film something really interesting right now, or film Ted as I look up AVB Bank here on the Google Earth.
There we
I'm
go.
kidding. Mayor Craig, he has been a part, like we've talked about for the last several minutes, a big part of the downtown area, the retail, Bass Pro. That vision and leadership's really what has gotten AVB on the map. We're one of the safest cities in the United States. We've been recognized nationally. Craig also has a lot of national ties in D.C. that's helping the city with all different types of resources, grant funding, and other things that we're looking at. And it's those connections, it's that continuity that just keeps helping Broken Arrow move forward. And I think it's real important that we keep that continuity so that the Innovation District becomes part of what we've just talked about. Instead of a vision, it becomes a reality.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
So just things like that have been in the works for 10 years, 15 years. We need to continue those, get those on the ground, and hopefully one of these days, whenever I retire, my grandkids are running around, they can say, you know, I was a part of that and helping Mayor Craig get that to fruition.
Craig, you have the floor here. We probably have some listeners out there that are saying, hey, you know, you have not because you ask not. I live in Broken Arrow, and I'm not going to vote for you unless you ask me to. Why should everybody vote for you in your mind? Because you certainly aren't doing this job for the pay. So why should everybody vote for you?
Well, I think it's important, you know, as I said before, that keeping that continuity, that experience, the contacts. We do a lot of things in Broken Arrow that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So I am involved in National League of Cities and U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I meet with a lot of other cities, and I find out what they did wrong. Because what they do wrong and you don't want to copy is sometimes more important than what to do right. So we really spend a lot of time trying to learn from other cities, and you know, all the years that I've been on the council, the 19 years that I've been on the council, it's really important that with my experience to stay engaged and be able to serve the community. I understand so much more than what someone that would be new for this job would be.
How many people voted in the last election for mayor? Do you know approximately?
I think around 5,000 to 6,000 people.
Out of 115,000 people,
Yes, very few
5,000
people
voted?
Yes.
See, is that shocking to you?
Yes, that is.
Because even 15,000 would be, well, if it was 100,000 people living here, you know, 15,000 would be 15%. So
Right.
we're talking, you know, I mean, even
less than 5% is what we're talking about.
yeah, I mean, it's a very
Very
pretty
few
sad.
people. Not many people really think it's important on city government.
Well, when is the election? I want to put it on my calendar. When is it?
It's going to be in April of next year, the first Tuesday in April.
Okay, first Tuesday in April next year.
Yes, in 2021.
2021. And we've got a picture right in here of AVB Bank. And if you're out there, Z, you're an investor in Regent Bank. Are you irritated if people go to AVB? Is that the problem?
No, of course not.
It's like a bank war here?
No.
I feel like a lot of tension here. I'm trying to let the tension out here.
I'm
No,
good,
there'll
I'm
be
good
no-
friends with Sean. It's
Yeah,
all
there'll
good.
be no.
Oh, there's
there'll
just
be
a
no,
lot of tension.
There'll be no cage fighting. And I tell you what, finding a great banker and finding a good bank, everybody out there, if you don't have one, you gotta come into AVB. I've heard great things about you guys, matter of fact. So how many locations
Thank
you guys
you.
have now?
We have 4.
Oh, very good. And you know what? It's fun. And you got a location in Broken Arrow.
We've got 3 in Broken Arrow and 1 in Tulsa.
Wow, 3 in Broken
Wow.
Arrow. Wow.
It's good to see
They must be really
competitive
friendly.
bank people
Yeah.
working together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's
I
all-
was worried. I'm like,
it's
hey,
all
guys,
about.
hey,
It's just
hey,
all about the
whoa.
money. Wait a second. I think it's actually accurate.
Well,
so.
Z, we like to end each and every show with a boom because that's what we do around here. Are you psychologically prepared to end with a boom?
You know, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
I'm going to get there.
We're initiating
I'm working
Mayor
myself
Craig
up to-
into the
I'm-
boomness of what we do here.
I know.
Right?
I mean, can Ted and Mayor Craig do it?
partake of the boom. We're going to say 3, 2, 1, and then boom. Are you guys prepared?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Okay,
here
let's
we
count it
go.
down. Let's do
Without
it.
any further ado, broadcasting live from the city of Broken Arrow, this city led by Mayor Craig Thurmond. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Boom.